We have been in a creator economy now for like 15 years. One of the, just moving beyond streaming for a minute. Let me get to the safety of my house and talk about this for just a second. All anyone has to do is go to like Patreon. Patreon's a little outdated these days. We're probably a good 5, 8 years beyond the popularity of Patreon as being a primary source of a place for people to go to like do cool things. But we started off with like things like Etsy, where people could make cool arts and crafts, put it up on Etsy, and sell their creations to people all around the world from their home. And then we had Patreon, where you could take your community, whether it's from Instagram or TikTok or YouTube or Twitter or wherever your community was from, and you could send them over to your Patreon page, and you could do lots of different cool things, like create items or have people sponsor directly the content that you're making. And it's a great way to monetize whatever it is that you want to do, your passions in life. And there are people who have done some amazingly creative stuff with not just handcrafted goods, but also things like, I'm going to go travel the world and I'm going to be a travel blogger, or now it's travel vlogging because of YouTube and TikTok and things of this nature. Or, you can sponsor my series on this. I'm going to create a graphic novel. I'm going to make a short film. We've got things like Kickstarter. We've got things like Indiegogo. We've got places where you can fund tabletop games. Back in the day, I used to sell ebooks through a place called... shit, now I'm blanking on it. Oh, wow. There was a website that we used to use to sell ebooks, and I wish I could remember it now. Gumroad is one of the ones that's used these days. eJunkie, that's what it was called, eJunkie. Used to sell ebooks through eJunkie, and I remember in 2011 was when I went to Colombia, came back. I launched my first ebook in 2012 on eJunkie, and I sold $50,000 worth of ebooks in that first year on that first ebook ever sold. That book was called The Expat Guidebook: How to Make a Living Traveling the World while Earning Money Online as a Digital Nomad Writer, as a freelance writer and photographer. People have been finding creative ways to make money on the internet for a long time now. I've told people almost every day when we're talking in streams, we get people asking questions about, like, I have been making money online with a public-facing, in this manner, online, on the internet, with my face in front of a camera since 2008 was when I started. First with a MySpace page, then with a Facebook page, then with a Twitter account, then with an Instagram account, and then with a YouTube channel, then with, TikTok, now with Twitch and YouTube and all these other things. And I have sold ebooks, I've sold my services as a photographer, I've sold my services as a videographer, I've done digital marketing of all types, I've done public speaking, I've done, 20, 30 different things. At one point along the way, I was doing WordPress templates for people and installing WordPress on their sites, like 1 or 2 a year. You need people to come pay me $5,000 to build a website and be like, okay, I can do that for you. Like, there are so many ways to use the power of the internet and make a living doing what you want to do rather than be a wage slave to someone else's dreams and passions. And it does come with risks, obviously. You can't take, there's no sick days. There's no one to fill in for you if you're not feeling good. Like, you have to put in the time. But in-laws and other people who say things like, oh, that's for kids, you need to grow up. Fuck that shit. Like, yeah, Trevor says criticizing other people's hobbies is for people who live such boring lives they don't have hobbies themselves. Correct. And there's also the mentality that you're not supposed to make money at something that you love. Like, your job is to be something you do no matter what, and you're supposed to be miserable at your job and then take your passions and do that in your spare time. That is like one of the most, and I said that in the other video that went viral across all the platforms a couple weeks back. It's such a bass-ackwards way of thinking. That is the boomer generation telling you, well, we had to do jobs that we didn't like our whole lives. You shouldn't be allowed to do things that you like and make money off it. That's just wrong. No. The creator economy is a great time to be alive in, and it's only going to get better because as we get virtual reality and as the internet continues to expand and we continue to have more platforms beyond, like I just mentioned, I don't know, 10 or 15 platforms that I've used over the past, 15, 20 years. There are going to be more platforms. Like we already have new things like Kick and Rumble and other platforms where people are creating content, and we're going to come up with new evolutions of the Patreon model and the Etsy model and YouTube and all this other stuff. These things will just continue to evolve over the rest of our lives and beyond that. And I said this, we were just talking about this yesterday, I think, during the live stream, because we were showing off Martin's YouTube channel with the home, because I have the Homestead channel outside of this, and I said the next iteration of what I do is as soon as Chris and I have the money to buy that second piece of property, I'm going to be putting pretty much all of my face time into building that property and doing all of that on YouTube through that other YouTube channel. And I'll stream here occasionally, but I'll be spending most of my time building that property up and building that place up from scratch to have the art studio that Chris wants and the writing studio that I want. And then I'm going to go back to writing fantasy and science fiction full time. Like that's the next evolution that I've already planned out for myself. And I will continue to make money using the power of the internet and having my face in front of a camera until I'm dead. Like literally, there is no reason for me to ever stop, like what Nigel said, doing what you love to do. Like there's no reason to not do that. We were doing this here. I'll show you guys something really quick because I pulled these up for a video I'm doing tonight. Hang on, I gotta pull this up really quick so you guys can see something that I'm talking about. So I've been doing this new series that people ask me to do on how to make a living, right? Doing this, streaming and doing content creation. But I've been making money a long time on the internet. And before this was game development, before game development was public speaking, before public speaking was travel writing, photography, videography, etc. And I actually pulled up a couple of old... Here, let me show this. Actually, let me open these in Google. This will be a better way to do this. I was going to just show them off in Discord, but I could pull these up in... this is from the last conference where my wife and I were presenting on brand building and social media marketing, digital marketing. This is in Killarney, Ireland, with Fáilte Ireland, which is the National Tourism Board, as the primary sponsor, as well as the TBEX Travel Conference. I did 7 or 8 speaking engagements with that company as an example. And then I used to do travel writing full time. And this was one of the last articles I wrote for the Adventure Collection, which is a collection of like 9 different travel companies. And I wrote this video about Eduardo Jornet, who is the father of Kilian Jornet, who is a crazy psychopathic like mountain climber, Olympic athlete who climbs mountains. And he had just done like this oxygen-free mounting of Everest like the week before this. These are all my photos, you know, going. I mean, this is what Chris and I used to do. Like, I have been making money. This is 2017, and this was at the tail end of my travel writing phase because I went into full-time game development in 2018. And like this kind of stuff, like this goes back a ways, like going out there and, you know, having these press tours and going out on these massive adventures. So the idea of like making money on the internet, pursuing your passions, can go way, 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 way beyond doing this, which is playing video games. Because I've done lots of different things on the internet, and I think that's one of the most powerful aspects of the internet is the ability for you to do what you want to do if you think outside the box. You do have to work hard, you do have to apply yourself. But I would like to think, I never finished high school. I'm a high school dropout. I never went to college. I speak 2 languages. I've traveled the world. I've accomplished every single item on my bucket list I ever wanted to do. I got to visit so many countries. I got to live that Indiana Jones lifestyle that I wanted. The pictures are of happy people. It's so weird. I know, right? um, and just you can do anything you want to do with the power of the internet. All it takes is the willingness to apply yourself and pursue it. But you have to pursue it. It's not just going to fall in your lap. It does require hard work and dedication and just doing things day in and day out. I get a lot of people who ask me why I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to start streaming at 4:30 in the morning and I'm like, because lazy people don't get anywhere in life, and duh, that's that simple. You can be a schmuck living in your mom's basement, or, right, like James MC says, you can put in the hard work and achieve your goals and achieve what you want to do in life. I am not a millionaire. I may never be a millionaire, but I have done everything I ever wanted to do in life. I have bought everything I ever wanted. I have traveled to all the countries I wanted to go to. I have created and sold multiple businesses. And now I'm semi-retired on a tiny piece of property, but it is paid for piece of property with my wife, who has all the animals she's ever wanted. Actually, not all the animals she ever wants, because she wants more, which is why we're getting into the, buying another property. And like I said, last Sunday, we were just out looking at other properties to turn to. And that's stuff that gets documented over on the Homestead channel. So it's like, so to go back to what Keeney was saying, getting a lot of comments from the in-laws, they need to fuck right off, as one would say. Ship it, clip it. And Hector says, and here endeth the lesson. If I lived in London, I'd get up at 3 p.m. and work just as hard. Probably. I do appreciate having an international audience, as opposed to only having a North American audience. Thanks for that comment, Keeney. And that, my friends, is another perfect example of something that we talked about in episode 1 of the new series that we are airing on YouTube, talking about how to make a living online as a content creator and streamer. Episode 1 aired, we just aired episode 5 last night. Episode 1 was close to a week ago. And in episode 1, I talked about how when you're getting started, when you're just getting going, you're going to stream for a couple of hours. You have a list of things you want to talk about while you're streaming, but you should always be open to and ready to answer questions for people when they come in, because stuff like that is a clippable video that you can then take and put out on YouTube, and that becomes a monetized piece of content that other people can watch after the fact, and you can then break that down into short content, which then can get put out on all of your social medias to promote the monetized piece of content, which means my job does not end when the stream goes offline, because then I have to cut everything down into the 30-minute episodes, then I have to clip stuff like that out, ship that out to export it, make thumbnails for it, get the description put into it, put it on Discord and all the social media, and then break it down for Instagram, TikTok, and etc. So it's a job. James MC, as I said before, to become self-employed scares the hell out of me. It can be scary. I'm less... There was a time when I was still freelancing full-time, where you would have lean months, and those were always scary because you would go 6-8 months, make really good money, and then you might have nothing for like 3 months. And by the third month of not getting any contracts, you're starting to get a little nervous. It's like, ooh, do I need to start eating beans and rice? You know, stop buying expensive wine. You know, maybe I don't need a bag of grass. Like, you know, um, it's but then you always get more contracts. You know, you're always fishing and looking for stuff. What's up, video game history? Greetings from Bavaria. Well, greetings to you as well. Dougie G says my best friend is looking at a property, 6 acres, $60,000. He wants to build a private pond for fishing. Finding out there's tons of costs. It just depends on where you live. If there's tons of costs, there's not a tons of costs. There's not a ton of costs where I live, where my homestead is. It just depends on where you're buying property. Yeah, 10,000 an acre is ridiculously high. Oil rights included. That's really, really expensive land. Um, so I was showing off Martin yesterday, who bought his entire property in the Alps, in the Italian Alps, for less than, it was less than 30,000 euro, right around 30,000 US dollars. And that got him the property plus 2 cabins. It's an amazing piece of property, 30,000. We bought our place cash for 10K. 10 grand is what we paid for our place cash with the building on it. It's not very big, but you know, it's a cash paid for. We just looked at something. I gotta look this up to figure out the dollar costs here, and I gotta figure out the land. Let's see, hectare. 5 hectares is 12 acres. And it is currently costing Hang on, I gotta do some math here real quick. So Chris and I were just looking at a 12-acre piece of property. We went and looked at 2 pieces of property on Sunday. One of the pieces of property was 12.5 acres for $22,000, which is around $1,850. Like, it's around $1,850, $1,900 per acre. And it's farmland. Which is reasonably priced for our part of the where we're at. So, yeah, 10,000 an acre is like, where is he buying it up in Lake Tahoe or someone ridiculously touristy? Because that's expensive. Yeah, lakeside property for 10 grand, I suppose, but yeah. Let's see what happens to this when I sleep for the night. So he just stays right there, and I'm guessing the ant doesn't need anything to eat. Does he follow me? He doesn't seem to be following me. Maybe I have to write him out of the...
Writing you is a metaphor for capitalism.
Okay. I have no idea if that thing's gonna follow me. Okay, he's definitely following me now. Well, I feel much safer now, much less nervous about wandering around the countryside here in the park because I essentially have a bodyguard. The following AI seems to be a little weird because he's definitely not sticking close to me. That water just rolled somewhere. Did he just show up? Oh, I lost the water. It went inside the... Okay, so he's gonna defend me. Oh, and he's gonna pull aggro. Hell yeah! Mights be gone. Big fan. Well, this is, I think, going to open up the world in a lot of really interesting ways. And there's different types of animals you can get too, because this is just the first one, because they've got like the spiders. But honestly, I have no idea how I would attempt to get a spider, because those things are so creepy. I don't know how I'm ever going to get one of these. It's proximity based. Don't really give a shit what you think, Daniel Pridgeon. I love it when you get random people who come into chat and like, I'm all for defending yourself, but as a new and potential dedicated viewer, I don't know about making all those TikToks addressing hate. Just makes you come off as a bit rude. No, what it makes me come off as is someone who monetizes the idiocy of other people. And you apparently don't love my vids, because if you loved my vids, you wouldn't have come in here and made a first-time comment about how, I just don't think you should be doing that. You obviously don't love all the vids, but thanks for the free engagement and giving me something else that I can clip out and put on social media. People who want to try to control what you say and think. My channel, my rules. I love your videos, but let me criticize all these other things, because I really don't love your videos. I just came here, and I'm a potential viewer, but I'm not actually someone who's interested in your community unless you conform to the ideals that I want you to hold. It's not how it works, buddy. My house, my rules. No shirt, no shoes, no service. Or as the kids would say. What's that? Oh. Sorry, guys. Something just slipped out. Yeah, the next step will be he's going to mention toxic positivity. That'll be his next statement. Oh, bye-bye, Daniel Pridgeon. We didn't want you here in the first place. Welcome to the Banhammer. You've earned a song, sir. I love my job. Swing and a miss, Daniel, sir. You got to try harder. I know, Deeks. He came in and said, "Why are you so defensive?" After he said something rude. I know, right? They'll never learn, man. Lingonberry bandage. Ooh. I guarantee you when I finish up today and I go to check my TikTok and my YouTube, or my TikTok and my Instagram, there's going to be a bunch of comments from the guys who got banned today, and they're going to be ranting on my other social media channels about how he banned us from it, he banned us on his Twitter, he banned us on his YouTube, he can't take criticism, he's a man-child, he's a cuck. That's their favorite one. They like to call me a cuck and talk about my wife's boyfriend.
Smoky, tangy.
Ellen, you guys wish that your wife had a boyfriend, because trust me, they pay for everything and it is glorious. There ain't nothing better than living debt-free. Having somebody else pay the bills. Hashtag goals 2025. Come here.
Water.
So unfortunately, I can't do anything with this because I don't have the rank 3 hammer. And just like that, a potential viewer loses their potential. But you know what? I bet I have a bunch of unused science points that I could. Really? Someone's calling me.
Gosh, I thought you might be dead. What happened out there?
I hatched a buggy.
Tell me more. How did it feel to ride on an insect?
Well, there's also some bad news.
Are you all right? You seem jittery.
Somebody contacted me.
Oh, you mean our little invader. Be careful. She will try to trick you.